Hello, Lisa here with chapter 12, The Show Must Go On. This is from the Salon Retail book, and it's such a great chapter because it reminds me of how some people have confidence and they're not even sure how they got it, but they just do. It's like when something happens and you look over there and you think, oh, someone probably should help that person, or somebody should do something, or maybe should I say something? And a person whose confidence just does it, you just do it without thinking. And I think that what we don't realize is there's many times in our day when if we didn't have to worry about what people thought of us, we would just go and fix it. We'd just do it. And it can be as simple as asking a person to put their phone away when you're working on them. It could be as easy as getting a child to sit in a chair. Like if you could just explain to the mother that it might be good if perhaps if she just sat there instead of there, or maybe I can take that off the boy while I cut his hair. Or it might be that you say to somebody if she could not talk while you're putting the foils in because she'll be moving her head. Or it might be that you ask somebody to, prepare themselves and prepare their skin for the way you want to be greeted. It doesn't matter, but we all have these thoughts in our head, and quite often we're afraid to say them. But I think if you say anything with kindness and compassion, I think you can pretty much say anything, or you can pretty much address something. But for a lot of us, we don't know how to do that. And so what you've got to understand is that knowing your lines, knowing what to say and when to say it and how to say it kindly is really everything. And if we're not spending enough time helping people to speak their truth, to be able to say what they need to say so that they can get the best outcome for their clients, then we're really robbing our team members of being the best version of themselves. It's funny how someone can look at a situation and see it very differently than someone else. And that's because we've all got stories, we've all got history, and we've all got the path that got us here today. But if they're going to work in your business, then there's got to be some guidelines around how do we do this? Like, what do we do when a client says this? What do you do when you're asking for a deposit and a client doesn't want to pay a deposit? Like, if you haven't practiced that, rehearse what to say, and given someone the confidence to say what they need to say and then just pause. You can't please everybody, but more often than not, people are so afraid of the very small percentage of people who aren't going to do what you want to do. But that's okay, because once they understand that you cannot please everybody, that you have to just get on with what you're doing and the show must go on. The show must go on because we've got wages to pay, we've got rent to pay, we've got stock to reorder, we've got to do things. So we can't get too bogged down in the little things that go wrong. Accept the things you cannot change, right? And just accept that some people will be disappointed in the way that you want to run your business, and that's okay. But I don't want you to be disappointed in the way you run your business. I want you to be proud of the way you run your business. And so once you let go of I can't please everybody and you just decide what sits right with you, you decide what kind of people you want to work with, you decide what kind of clients you want to service. If you don't have that really clear in your mind, you're going to bounce around and try and please everybody. And I don't think anybody wins pleasing everybody. I'm sure they don't. So it's really important that you take time and you learn the lines, whatever that is, whether it's asking someone to rebook, asking someone to pay a deposit, asking someone to come on time next time. It doesn't matter. You ask people what you would like to happen, and then it's okay if people say no, and be okay with that. But if you don't ask, you don't know. So the show must go on is chapter 12, and I think you'll find it really helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Chapter 12, The Show Must Go On. Working in a hair or beauty salon, dealing face-to-face with clients, it's a lot like acting in a play. It's a live performance where every day is a little bit like Broadway. For many of you, having to be on or performing all day is way too much pressure. Sadly, it's a big reason people leave our industry. There are many more of you in your 20s than there are of you in your 30s, 40s and 50s. And there are two reasons. The physical wear on our bodies is taxing, and we are mentally worn out from acting in an endless play, a quite repetitive play at that. Imagine if you were playing the role of Cinderella in the story of Cinderella. Perhaps you're thinking, play it, I am bloody Cinderella. That's my life right there, always getting everyone else ready to go to the ball and never going myself. If that's how you feel, you need to get your hands on my second book, Your Salon Team. You'll absolutely love it. And Cinderella gets a mention in there. Imagine if you had to continue to perform your role in that play forever. You'd go insane, right? You have to mix it up and change the characters or the setting. Maybe tweak the costumes or the lighting. You'd want to add some excitement to a tired, overtold story. Do you see where I'm going with this? Recommending retail in your salon is the same. You need to first learn your lines as they were written, get the standard version down pat, then and only then you can alter the message, mix it up a bit. The client might be hearing your story for the first time, or maybe the second time. It needs to be the exact same information with the exact same outcome, just told in a different way. This might be the 100th or the 1,000th time you've explained the benefits of double shampooing or placing the product in the right place. It's old information to you, but it might be the first time anyone's bothered to explain it to this particular client. You can't change the ending, the happy ever after part, because that's the result. The outcome your client needs to solve their problem. What you can change is how you deliver the story. You should have heard some of the ways I'd explain things. Lots of variations on the theme, I can tell you, yet still the exact same information. Why not get creative and pimp your product story? Do you know your lines? If your salon floor or beauty room is this stage and you are the performer on the stage, do you know your lines? Do you know what to say and when to say it? I still know my lines. I haven't worked in a salon for years, yet I could recite my product spiels in my sleep, standing on my head. You and your team need to be able to do the same. If you're confident in your product knowledge for every product you stock and you know instantly what product suits each client, what their choices are, how much they should use and when, then I think you can answer yes, I do know my lines. Now you just need to practice them. I bet you've never practiced what you'd say to someone if they said, "Nah, I don't want any." Or what you'd say to someone who tells you flat out, "It's too expensive." Or what you'd say to someone who says, "I just get mine from the supermarket, it's way cheaper." If you haven't practiced, you won't have the confidence of someone who's read their lines over and over and knows what they'll say in any given situation. The first time you do something, it's almost always harder than the second time. Why? Because you take the learnings out of the first experience and you apply it to the second experience. As you know, I love yoga. It challenges my fitness, my strength, and my flexibility, but it also calms my farm. And by farm, I mean my head. Someone once said to me, "You clean your teeth every day, and yet very few people make the time to clean the mind." That's what yoga does for me. It clears my mind. But I had to work at it to see the improvements. Every time they ask you to stand on one-legged balance, I'm always much better when I do the other side, the other leg. I thought it was because I naturally start on the right-hand side, but I tested it to see. It doesn't matter if I start with the left-hand side or the right-hand side. The first attempt is still not as good as the second attempt. Why? Because I've just practiced and I've learnt something during that practice which I take through to my second attempt. Retail's the same. When you absorb all the information about what the product does, what the benefits are, it's easy to focus on the good results, the positive questions or comments your clients might have. Most of you don't factor in the shitty questions, the ones that come firing from left field, the questions you hadn't imagined them asking. What happens? You get thrown off balance, your confidence falters. In your head, you translate that to mean, retail's not my thing. In reality, you just need to learn your lines, rehearse everything that's possible, every possible conversation, and go on stage fully prepared for anything that might come your way. Why not get someone else on your team to ask you a couple of curveball questions around each of your products? Get them to complain that they don't want to be sold to while having their service done in your business. This eliminates the fear you have. If it ever happens, you're ready, and boy, oh boy, watch your confidence grow. In many situations, we're held back by not knowing what to say or how to deal with the person's reactions. So you freeze, and the rude, grumpy party wins. I would hate that to be the case for you. When you know what to do, your confidence booms and your performance shines. People don't have to buy what you recommend. You just have to know that you've done the best job you possibly can of solving their problems. Think about the first time you cut a wiggly kid's hair. It's a struggle between getting it cut quickly, because you know the longer it takes, the worse they get, and not darting too fast around his head that you take his eye out with your scissors. But you practice and you practice and you get better and better at it. It's a wonder we get as far as we do, honestly. Hairdressers are so resilient. Often we're not trained in a third of the things we're expected to do, yet for the most part we're optimistic and happy campers. True? Real troopers. We just crack on with it and we work shit out. Try being a little more prepared and you'll be blown away with the confidence developing in you and your team. I have a soft spot for hairdressers. It's a bit of a birds of a feather thing, stick together. All the above applies to the beauty therapist too. I just choose the kid's hair cut for a drama of the pointy scissors. It's a stage, remember, darling. If you worked on a construction site, you'd put on a hat and your boots to protect your head and your feet, yeah? You'd wear a high-vis shirt or vest. You wouldn't be allowed on site without all three. This is where we make a big mistake in the hair and beauty settings. We recommend products to customers when we don't have the right gear to protect ourselves. By gear, I mean knowledge. We don't have the knowledge because we are under-rehearsed, and then we wonder why we don't perform well or get the results we expected. To get the most out of practicing, you need your team to be truthful about what product knowledge they already have. Then, and only then, you can start training them. Start by quizzing them. Next, you film your performance and have your team do the same for themselves. Everybody has a smartphone today, so there's nothing stopping you. Nothing to stop you or your team filming how you answer the various questions a client might ask. Play it back. See how you can improve. You can do this over and over again without anyone else ever knowing about it. Or, if your team's fully on board, perhaps you can share your videos around and discuss them together. You can praise the bits that work well and help each other with the parts where you fumble. Practice makes perfect, guys. Years ago, much to the horror of my team, I filmed them during role-play consultations. It took some convincing to get them on board, but we got there. The deal was that I would not share or show the videos to anyone else, and I'd delete them completely at the end of the training. It was a fair deal, so we got on with it. Once we got past the giggling, it was a rewarding exercise. My team discovered that they were skilled at recommending, that they came across as very professional. Some were more confident than others, but the beauty of having it on film was being able to stop at any point and have a discussion before restarting the footage. We paused whenever the girls felt someone used a really cool word to describe something, and we wrote it up on the salon mirror with a chalkboard pen. Across the group, we collected several words we felt were powerful and empowering to both the stylist and the client. Here are some of those chosen words, including sample sentences. Consistent. Your skin will improve if you're consistent with your cleansing. Extension. Looking after your tan will give you the extension you'll love. Ongoing. Replacing moisture in your hair is always going to be ongoing. Structure. A skin routine with a good structure means you'll be able to follow through. Replenish. With all the heat tools you use, you need to be mindful to replenish the moisture. Support. I'm here to support you, so you always look and feel your best. Remember, it's a stage. Learning your lines, using the right words, and your audience will be thrilled. The play is titled The Salon Experience, and you have the lead role, the salon expert. You're all starring in the same role in your various salons in every city and every little town across the globe. Your opening night is every time you approach a client to do the consultation. Think about slipping into your costume, putting on your face, and then the curtain comes up. You're on. Flicking the switch as you step on stage. You need a trigger to set you off, a go switch. For me, I always had a little leather apron. It's so soft. I've had it for years, and I still wear it at home when I'm baking. I had it custom made in Bali. Something happens when I tie that apron on. It makes me step up. I become all polished and professional. It brings me back to my wonderful memories. If only it could talk. Actually, best it doesn't, I think. That apron was my trigger point. Once I tied those apron straps, I was stepping on stage. I had a job to do, and I did it beautifully. Without that little black apron, it just didn't feel right. I could manage, but it wasn't the same. It's the very same apron I'm wearing on the front cover of this book. Maybe it's pinning on your name tag or applying fresh lip gloss just before you greet your client. Perhaps it's that last look in the mirror when you whisper to yourself, "You've got this." Identify a trigger that works for you, that sparks your transformation into your character, the salon expert. Then step on stage, brimming with confidence. You might not have a hard hat or work boots to protect you, but you do have a healthy, confident, emotional state to see you through your performance. Kick-ass Kickstarter. Remember that product you scripted after reading Chapter 11? Rescript it. That's right. Craft an alternative script including at least 2 of the powerful words listed above. Practice it, practice it, practice it, and then practice it. And then step on stage and deliver your lines.